Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to discuss the second part of UV visible spectroscopy, and that is the Woodward's rule. So Woodward's rule is a set of rules which is used in the determination of the lambda max value in UV visible spectroscopy. And it can be used for a set of different types of organic compounds. It can be used for dienes like homoannular dienes, heteroannular dienes. It can also be used for certain enones, dienones, conjugated dienes. So these classes of organic compounds, they can be classified for Woodward's rule, and they can be considered for calculation under the Woodward's rule. So the basic objectives of this presentation would be to know about the basic applications of UV visible spectroscopy, elucidating the structure containing unsaturation and conjugation in a compound, basics of Woodward's rule and its application in lambda max calculation of different unsaturated and conjugated systems. So the first we are going to discuss about the application of UV visible spectroscopy. So it is used for structural elucidation of unsaturated systems. So it helps in the prediction of unsaturation if it is present in a molecule. It can confirm the extent of conjugation in an organic molecule. So conjugation, it can be between two or more carbon-carbon double or triple bonds, between a carbon-carbon double bond and carbon double bond oxygen. It can also be between a double bond and aromatic ring. So any kind of possible conjugation in an organic molecule can be detected by the UV visible spectroscopy. So from the spectra, the presence of an aromatic ring and its number, they can be revealed. Locations of substituents attached to the carbon atom in the conjugation system can also be determined by UV visible spectroscopy. Now, the second application of UV visible spectroscopy is in the identification of geometrical isomers. So, by the help of UV visible spectroscopy, we can determine whether a particular isomer, it is a cis isomer or it can be a trans isomer. The lambda max value can accordingly vary. So the trans isomer, they generally have a tendency to exhibit the lambda max value at a slightly longer wavelength than the cis isomer. So here we have taken an example of stilbene molecule, and you can see that for the trans isomer, the lambda max value is 294 as compared to its cis isomer where the lambda max value is 278. UV visible spectroscopy also finds application in the detection of impurity in an organic compound. So here we have a graph between absorbance and lambda value, and we can see that the main component or the main organic compound is the one which has been shown in this green line, and the rest of it are all the impurities. So we can see how the lambda max value, they can vary for different impurities. So UV visible spectroscopy, it is also considered to be a useful tool for impurity detection. The bands which are obtained due to the impurities in a given particular organic compound, they are very intense and they can be immediately identified in a molecule. So Woodward's rule, what is this Woodward's rule? Now Woodward's rule, they are a set of rules which are used for the calculation of lambda max in the given following system. So we can either have a conjugated diene, we can have an alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde, we can have alpha beta unsaturated ketone, we can also have extended conjugated systems in dienes, aldehydes and ketones. So here we have, this is like an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound, this is a homoannular diene, this is also an example of a homoannular diene. So what is this Woodward's rule? So it is applicable for the calculation of lambda max for cyclic as well as acyclic compounds. So with the increase in the length of the conjugated system, the lambda max value, it also increases. Intensity of absorption, it also increases with the increase in the number of chromophores. Now the presence of an alkyl group, if an alkyl group is present on the double bond, that is an alkyl substituent or a ring residue, then it can cause a bathochromic shift. So bathochromic shift means that the lambda max value shift towards the right, or the lambda max value, it increases, so it is also called the red shift. Ring residue is a carbon-carbon bond. So it is very important to understand what is a ring residue in Woodward's rule. It is not an extra ring, but it is a carbon-carbon bond which is not a part of the conjugated system, but it is attached to any one of the carbon atoms of the conjugated system. So if we have a bond coming out of the diene or of the conjugated system, but which is not directly a part of the conjugated system, then that carbon-carbon bond can be considered as a ring residue. Now, the different types of double bonds which can be used in conjugation, they are the alicyclic diene are double bonds which are contained in open systems. So, if you have a open chain compound containing double bonds, that is an alicyclic, two double bonds which are in conjugation, that is an alicyclic diene. Then you can have a homoannular conjugated double bond. So this is an example of a homoannular. This is also an example of a homoannular, where both the conjugated double bonds are present in the same ring. A heteroannular conjugated double bonds, they contain conjugated double bonds which are present in two separate rings. They are not present in the same ring. Then we can have exocyclic and endocyclic double bonds. So if both the double bonds they are present within the same ring, then it is endocyclic. However, exocyclic double bond is a double bond which is part of the conjugated system but it is present outside the ring. So here we have two double bonds, one is inside the ring and one is outside the ring. So this is an exocyclic double bond and this is an endocyclic double bond because it is contained within the ring. Now, when we try to solve or when we try to calculate the lambda max of a given particular conjugated system using UV visible spectroscopy, there are certain base values that we have to understand. So, if we are considering a heteroannular system or an open chain diene, so for a heteroannular system, the base value is 214 nanometer. For an open chain diene, it is 217 nanometer. And if you are having a homoannular diene, then the base value is 253 nanometer. Now these are the base values, these are the core values. Apart from this, we have certain increment values, like if there is alkyl substituent or ring residue, for every alkyl substituent or ring residue, we can add on 5 nanometer. For an exocyclic double bond, again we can add on 5 nanometer. If there is a double bond extending the conjugation, then we can add on 30 nanometer. Now, due to the presence of certain oxochromes as well, the lambda max value can change. If we have an OAC group, it is 0. If we have an ether group, it's 6 nanometer. If we have a thioether group, it is 30 nanometer. If we have an amine, then it is 60 nanometer, and any halogen is again 5 nanometer. So depending on that, we can see that we can calculate the lambda max value for such a system. So here it is a homoannular system. So the base value or the core value, as we discussed, is 253. Now ring residues are 3. Now what are ring residues? As we discussed, that ring residues are any carbon-carbon double bond which are attached to the carbon atoms of the conjugated system, but which is not directly a part of the conjugated system. So the conjugated system here is this particular part, and as you can see that there are carbon-carbon bonds coming out of this carbon. There is a carbon-carbon bond coming out of this carbon, and there is a carbon-carbon bond coming out of this carbon. Now this carbon and this carbon, both these carbons are a part of the conjugated system. As both the carbons are the part of the conjugated system, so this bond, and this bond are considered to be ring residues. So this molecule is considered to be having 3 ring residues. So each ring residue has a contribution of 5 nanometers. So we have total of 15 nanometers. Then there is an exocyclic double bond. Okay, so this exocyclic double bond, as you can see, with respect to this cycle, this purple double bond here is exocyclic to the ring B, and that is 5. So the total contribution is 273 nanometers. Now here we have a heteroannular system. Likewise, here the base value or the core value is 214. Ring residue, again we see that there are 3 carbon-carbon single bond coming out of the conjugated system. And again here we have an exocyclic double bond. So if we add 214 plus 15 plus 5, we will get a total value, whatever the value we will get. So it is 20, and so that is 236. So again here we have a homoannular diene. So the base value is 253. Now we can calculate the total number of ring residues. So you can see 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So 4 into 5 is 20. How many exocyclic double bonds are there? So with respect to ring A, this double bond is exocyclic, and with respect to ring C, this double bond is exocyclic. So there are two exocyclic double bonds, so twice the value, that is 10. And double bond extending conjugation, obviously this is an example of an extended conjugation. There are not two double bonds but three double bonds. So you have a 30. So you have to add on a 30. So the total value becomes 313. So likewise, we can calculate for this system, which is again a heteroannular dyne. So for such conjugated systems, whether we take into consideration a conjugated dyne and cyclic dyne and alicyclic dyne, homoannular and heteroannular dyne, if we know the base value and the contribution of the substituent groups, the contribution of extended conjugation, exocyclic double bond, we can calculate the lambda max value of such systems. And this is the utility of Woodward's rule. Now there are a few practice questions here, like what are the different applications of UV visible spectroscopy? What is Woodward's rule? What are the different types of double bonds which are identified in UV visible spectroscopy? And how Woodward's rule is used to calculate lambda max in homoannular, heteroannular, and conjugated dynes. Now these are the references that I have used for this presentation. And that's all for this presentation. Thank you.